everybody, and welcome back to the Turn the Tassel Show. My name is Stephen Ampersand. I am your host. And as always, we are here to help you and the people you love get to and through college, university, or the trade schools earlier on time with minimum to no debt. And it's been a while, so let's clap it up for being back in the building. And it's been a while. It's been probably about 2 weeks. And I've missed you guys. I've missed the broadcast. But I tell you what, we've been busy over here. We have been busy. People are starting to get the picture that you can't go and do these school and college and all these different things particularly well anymore without going into monster levels of debt without some guidance. And so we're happy to be here at Turn the Tassel Consulting Group, LLC, to help people navigate this process. And so I've been away. I've been working. I've been doing a variety of things. I've got a bunch of exciting things happening right now. And so I'm very pleased. I won't unfurl all of the things that are in the works, but I will tell you that I'm super excited about this project that I've been working on really for the last 3 months. And I'm looking forward to seeing it finally come to fruition this fall. And that is my new book. Yes. So I've been writing my first book, and the title is SAP Suckered. And we'll get into that in a little bit. You'll notice that the title down here for tonight's show is SAP Suckered. And of course, there is a double entendre there, that there's a double meaning, if you will. All right. So we'll go into the SAP Sucker, what that means colloquially. But for the purposes of what we do here at Turn the Tassel Consulting Group, we're really going to be talking about satisfactory academic progress and how many students get suckered into really losing their aid eligibility because they don't know up front what traps wait for them with regard to satisfactory academic progress. At the same time, many institutions, and I would say even the taxpayers, get SAP suckered. They get suckered because taxpayers end up paying for students who don't make satisfactory academic progress by way of Pell Grants, SEOG grants, student loan programs, etc., many of whom don't graduate and now have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt that they don't even have a credential to help them pay off. And ultimately that falls on the taxpayer, as we've seen folks continue to lobby for the Biden administration and anyone else that is willing to pay off the student loan debt. So SAP Sucker. So what I want to do is I want to read a little bit. We're going to give you a little taste of the book that is forthcoming. Super excited. Give you a little taste of the book. We'll read that, and so you'll get a sense. And then, we'll figure out how to begin taking pre-orders and that kind of thing. But really just want to unfurl that. This is, June 21st. This is the longest day of the year, I believe, as it's the summer solstice, that kind of thing. And I can't think of a better way to end the longest day of the year than to really start and roll out this book that's coming. I'm super excited. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and cut to camera number 2. Okay, so I just want you to see the first part of it. So the title is SAP Suckered, Satisfactory Academic Progress Traps in Higher Education and How to Avoid Them. So that's the title of the book, okay? And I'm going to just scroll through here. That's all the necessary stuff. Dedication. So this book is dedicated to all the college students who got SAP suckered by the higher ed machine before this how-to came to fruition. Pay this info forward. And I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to come back for this. I want to encourage you. Please, even as you're looking at these videos, if you're following along on the live stream, etc., please do make sure that you share these things with people. Encourage folks to like, subscribe, do all those things on the various platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. Encourage people to join, because this is valuable information that you're really not going to get up front in most places. Usually people find out about these things after they've failed to make satisfactory progress or other measures, and by then it's too late, right? So do share this information. Do pass and pay this forward. All right, let's go back to camera number 2. Okay. So we're going to read, well, here's your contents. We're going to preface, acknowledgments, okay, introduction, know before you go. Chapter 1 is the SAP Trap. We're going to talk about what the SAP Trap is and what they are. We're going to talk about in Chapter 2 the measures, GPA, pace, and lifetime limits. Chapter 3 is how to spring the SAP Trap. We'll have a conclusion, and then I'm going to have some calculation worksheets and other things at the end, some notes for you to leverage. Let me come in on the screen here. We're going to have some notes and other things at the end because, you know, we want this to be a guide for sure. Also want it to be brief. You know, the goal here is to get through this in under 100 pages. It's a quick read, and the whole purpose is to equip you and the people you love to set themselves up for success regarding satisfactory academic progress so that you don't forfeit any of the aid that you may qualify for by way of missing some of the measures. So we're going to talk about that. All right, so let's keep going here. Okay. All right. Preface. SAP Sucker. A leech or worthless person or institution who uses someone else's financial status for their own benefit. UrbanDictionary.com. You know, I put that in there because, you know, again, SAP Sucker has several different meanings. There's actually a woodpecker called a SAP Sucker, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It literally pecks holes into the wood to get sap and also to eat bugs. All right, so it gets a little bit of protein and it gets a little bit of sap in its diet. That's what that does. But colloquially, you may have heard someone call someone a SAP Sucker in lieu of another bad derogatory terminology, right? Like some people will use expletives, call someone a mother expletive as an example. Well, a more kind way to say that might be, hey, you SAP sucker, right? But really what it comes down to is, and by this definition, it's someone who uses someone else's financial status for their own benefit, okay? So you're a SAP sucker if you do that. So what does that mean? That means you could be a SAP sucker certainly as a student, right? Meaning you could be a SAP sucker because you go to college and you use the financial status of others, i.e. taxpayers, to go to college but don't do well. And then you flop out and then you're stuck. Okay, so in that sense, a student can be a SAP sucker. Or commonly, an institution can SAP sucker you. You could get SAP suckered. Note the title there. Not bad, right? You could get SAP suckered by the institutions when you walk in to register for classes, get your aid applied, but you don't get educated up front what your expectations are and how you must perform in order to retain the eligibility of the funds that you've received. So you can get SAP suckered by the institution, which is why I added that emphasis there. Okay, so let's keep reading, shall we? I'm going to jump out of here so you can see the whole frame here. Okay. When the Higher Education Act of 1964 authorized Pell Grants to students who lacked the means to pay for college, many applauded the action. I see lacked turned into lace with autocorrect, so we'll fix that. Many applauded the action. Higher education is universally regarded as the pathway from poor, working poor, and blue collar in the middle class, right? So to get to the middle class, that is. Billions of dollars of grant and loan money have been allocated and spent since then, much of which fraudulently. Like most well-intended programs, unintended consequences like professional students, people who exploited the initial unlimited time frame to receive these funds as a means of living, began to stress the system. What became clear is that something needed to be done to ensure greater accountability for the disbursement of taxpayer-funded student aid. That something became what we now know as Satisfactory Academic Progress, SAP standards. SAP standards now dictate that students must be making progress toward the completion of a degree or credential to continue to receive aid. If at any point it becomes clear that a student will not complete the required time frame or with the necessary GPA, student aid must be cut off. College administrators know this and are required to enforce it by the Federal Department of Education. However, most students today only find out about these requirements after they have failed to make SAP. This book is designed to help students know before you go to college what standards you will be held accountable to once you receive federal student aid. The following pages will detail the measures used to ensure completion that de facto trap students, measures used to ensure, let me start that again. The following pages will detail the measures used to ensure completion that de facto trap students when they are not aware of them. Readers will learn what SAP is, how it is calculated, and why it is calculated as it is, and the strategies students should employ to spring the trap before getting ensnared. Students who do not know the fine print requirements of the federal student aid they receive are almost certain to lose eligibility. Put another way, ignorant aid recipients will end up being SAP suckers who likely owe their college and the government with no credential to show for it. By reading this book, students and or their caring mentors will know what is required, where the pitfalls are, and how to avoid the traps. They will avoid being SAP suckered. Yes. 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 So there's our preface. It's going to be a quick read. It's going to be an exciting read, and it's going to be a practical read. We're going to make sure that you know how to calculate your satisfactory academic progress and the variety of ways that institutions are allowed to calculate it. So we're going to talk about what it looks like from a semester hour standpoint, whether they've calculated after every semester or whether or not they do it annually. We'll talk about all those permutations, and we'll show you how to calculate it yourself so you know what things you need to do to make sure you retain your eligibility. So I'm super duper excited about it. It's been something I've wanted to do for a long time, and things have really opened up in my life right now where I'm in a position where I have the time. I have the time to do it. I have the intellect and the means to do it. And so I said, you know what? It's time to go ahead and get this book to print. So SAP Suckered. All right. It's coming in the fall, and I'm super excited about it. We're going to sign off for now. Please stay tuned. We'll have more shows coming to you. And in the meantime, as always, we're here to help you and the people you love get to and through college, university, or the trade schools as early as possible with minimum to no debt. So to that end, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you how you can get contact with us and ultimately benefit from the knowledge and expertise that we have. You can do so at turningtassel@gmail.com. You can send us an email there and simply say, I need a plan. Subject line, I need a plan. We'll reach out to you. We will schedule a time for a free consultation to help you figure out what the best pathway is for you going forward with education beyond high school and how you can do it well. Or you can text us at 484-574-1866. Same subject line. I need a plan. We'll get in contact with you. We'll set you up, help you see what your best options are. And then if you want to proceed and move forward with our consultation, we're happy to talk through those options with you as well. I'm Stephen Ampersand, and this is the Turn Tassel Show.